Growing Our Future, welcome. I hope you're having a great couple of days here at the Learning Festival. I've been teaching for 27 years and this is the first time I have ever managed to come. And the fact that I've come and we're doing this is petrifying, daunting, but it's just so exciting and we're really quite delirious with shock and whatever else. Anyway, if we ask you for a selfie later on, don't be surprised because that's how excited we are to be here with you today. My name's Tracy Sinclair, I'm head teacher. I've got with me today a member of my staff, Karen Henderson, who's my class teacher, and I have Emma Whittam, who is the guru of Move Food. So you've got 3 different types of job role here today, and the old saying that if you surround yourself with brilliant people, it makes you look better, that's the only reason I'm here today. I've put out our sketch note just so that you can have a wee look at it kind of on a couple of chairs as we go through. That came about from a community learning inspection where what we were doing was kind of picked up and highlighted and turned into a sketch note, which as well was very exciting for us. So who are we? So I'm head teacher at Tarradale Primary in Muirvord, which is a small village. We've got 272 children in our primary 1 to 7, and we've got 48 in the nursery. So we're at that kind of awkward 10 classes, 11 classes. Are we going up? Are we not going up? But we will be going up very soon because what's happening in our village over the last 9 years, we were zoned to have an extra 600 houses put in because the traffic links were so good. We've got the trains, the buses, and we're only a 20-minute commute to Inverness. So really it's quite a popular place coming. We've had so many new housing developments and there's 2 more huge housing developments coming to the village as well. So what that means for us is that where we used to know every family and the 4 generations before them, we knew exactly who they came from, we know everything about them. If you blink in the village, everybody knows about it. That's the kind of place we're from. That's changing. That's really hugely changing for us. To give you a wee bit of background as well, I have been teaching for 27 years. I started as a probationer at Tarradale Primary, and then the whole way through, I did leave for 4 years to be depute and a head teacher at a different school, but came back to Tarradale Primary as head teacher. I have got married whilst being there. I have had my 3 daughters whilst being there, so it's been and they all have come to Tarradale Primary. We're quite a strange setup because out of all of I actually am one of my staff I taught as well, and I'm now teaching the children that I taught. So I really am old Granny Grunt of the village now. But of all of my staff, 95% of my staff, their own children have come through the village. Every single one of us are local, so every single one of us are invested. And I quite often just joke and say, well, we're actually just a bunch of mums running a school. That's quite a powerful thing to be, actually. But we certainly are a very rare phenomenon, I think, when a snow day is impossible because we all live there. So that's gutting. My clerical has been in the school for nearly 40 years. So what she doesn't know is not worth knowing. So we are quite a strange bunch. However, even my clerical who's been there for that length of time, we're now having families coming in that we have no history, that we haven't a clue who they are, we don't know their background, we don't know anything about them, and that's new to us. And community in our village is everything. We're still a village that has the summer gala, that has pantomimes in the Christmas, that has the carol concert with hot chocolate in the square at Christmas. All these really community, village things, we still very much have that. Now, the reason that I'm telling you all of this is because of this. This is our vision, values and aims. Working together with our community to encourage and nurture our young learners to achieve their full potential and be responsible, confident and happy. In a nutshell, to safeguard that and to bring in these new children. If we want our village in 20 years' time still to have that gala, still to have that things at Christmas, we need to make sure that the people coming into our community feel that they have a voice. We need our children to feel that even if their granny and their great-granny didn't come from Murivord, that they still have a place in our village, because they're the ones that are going to have to ultimately keep it going. So if you are looking to plan a partnership, this would be my advice as head teacher. Your vision statement is your starting point, depending to have a look to what kind of partnership you're going to make. What is it that you want to achieve as a school? What is your vision for the children in your care? What are the buzzwords that are in your vision statement? Because that's the kind of business that you're needing to tap into. Because you need to look for a partner that's going to collaborate with you, that's going to take forward your vision for that school. You must have a similar vision. You must trust that person. You must share goals and ideas. You have to have that buzz with the person. You know, that if you're working along to the same line and your outcome, you're wanting the same thing, you're going to get excited. You've seen that we're quite excited. You're about to hear how us partnering up with Moo Food has helped us in partnership to really achieve our vision and to push it forward in a way that we would never have been able to do just singularly in the school. So I'm going to hand you over to Emma Whittam.
So hi, I'm Emma, the founder of Moo Food. So Moo Food is a community food initiative in Murivord, and we're just a couple of years old, so still relatively new and on a steep learning curve. We've got a few members of staff, a couple of project officers and a gardener, and we've got a cohort of about 30 volunteers, and then any gaps of any skills and knowledge we fill in with session workers. So our mission at Moo Food is to inspire environmentally friendly living and build community resilience by bringing people together to grow food, knowledge and confidence. You'll notice in the Moo Food logo that we've got 4 different icons. So the first one, growing. We're growing food within our village for everybody to eat and to take for free. But we're also growing knowledge, resilience and confidence. Then learning. We're facilitating learning and knowledge exchange throughout all generations and backgrounds within the community. And we believe that everybody's got something to share and to learn. Then reducing. We're reducing our environmental impact, and we're doing this primarily through focusing on food waste, but we're also reducing isolation, food poverty, inequality, and unemployment. And last but not least, eating. This is everybody's favourite part, and this is where we celebrate coming together as a community with friends and family and eating the delicious food that we're growing together. So the project that we're here to talk about today is Growing Our Future. This is one of Moo Food's projects, and this project is funded by the Scottish Government Climate Challenge Fund, and it's a soil to fork behaviour change project. And we take a holistic approach to delivering this project, using food as the vehicle to tackle a range of topics from biodiversity, climate change, volunteering, and the importance of community spirit. And it's based on the values of kindness, inclusivity, unity, and creativity. And we believe at Moo Food that if we help people connect to themselves and connect to each other and then connect to the environment, that they can then make the right choices for themselves. So within this project, we've got a few growing spaces throughout the village, which I'll introduce to some of them here. We don't have a big growing space. We've decided to try and make our village an edible village, so we grow everywhere we can. A bit of guerrilla planting goes on. So these are 3 sites that I thought I would show you. So the first one here is at our village hall, and that's where our office is. And we've developed this space with our Flourish Group, which is a partnership with the NHS. Then the second space here, just a different type of growing space. This is on a croft on the outskirts of the village where we've got a partnership with a local crofter to use their polytunnel. And the grapes that we've had out of there this summer are the tastiest I've ever had, so it just shows you what you can do. And then we've got Tarradale Primary School growing space where we've got our orchard, we've got fruit bushes growing, we've got a fantastic amount of stuff, a variety of stuff coming out of the polytunnel. I think the sweet corn's probably been the biggest excitement. And then we've got 5 growing boxes where we've got lots of stuff going on there as well. But what's important for all of these is they're all community spaces. The food that's grown here is for everybody in our community to help themselves to eat and to enjoy. And it's not divided that only the children are working in the school's polytunnel. They're also coming and working in the other growing spaces throughout the village and vice versa. We have our volunteers coming to work in the school. Then we have our largest space, which is our community orchard. And this was an underused green space within the village. And a year past February, we've planted 50 fruit trees. So we've got some apple, pear, cherry and plum growing. And we've also got 15 growing boxes, again, brimming with stuff, seasonal herbs, salads and veggies. This orchard was planted by the people in the village, for the people of the village, for generations to come, and the school were heavily involved and been part of that process. Another part of this project is our community fridge. The fridge is a platform for sharing any surplus foods that are available within the village. And this is a partnership between MooFood, Tarradale Primary School and our local development trust. And the food that goes into the fridge that keeps us all stocked up is the stuff that MooFood's growing throughout the village, but it's also donations from individuals, and it's also surplus food from our local supermarkets and our independent retailers. And then the idea is that everybody in the village can take from the fridge. And we really, really promote the environmental message that by you taking the stuff out of the fridge, you're doing a good thing for the environment by preventing this food from going to landfill. But underneath all of that, we're tackling the subtle issues of food poverty. But the great thing about the fridge is that there's no stigma attached to it because everybody and anybody is using it. So in this project, it doesn't work without partnership, as Tracy was saying. So Tarradale Primary School is one of our key partners. And we design our projects along with our partners. And what we're trying to do is add value to what they're already doing. So we work really closely with them. Another key partner is the Department of Work and Pensions, where we've got a back to work scheme. So people that are struggling to get back to work come and work with us. They get experience within the context of what MooFood's doing and then build up their confidence, and then they can then go on to a more positive destination. Then we also work with NHS Highland. You'll have heard me mentioning that we've got our Flourish group. That was the site, the garden at our village hall. Again, we work there with people that are suffering from mild to moderate mental illness, and we all know the therapeutic benefits. It's well documented now about being outside and about growing. So collectively, these partners make all our growing spaces as viable as they are. I'm going to hand you now over to Karen.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Karen Henderson. As Tracy said, I'm a teacher at the school. My part in all of this came about when Emma was looking for partners from key areas to join a steering group to see how we could take forward our shared vision and goals. I have to say I absolutely love being part of that group. And just seeing all the fantastic work that we are doing, seeing the changes in the children's behaviour, and then getting recognition from Education Scotland was just amazing. One of the first things that the school had part in was the community fridge, and I've just got a quick clip here. I'm going to show you. The boys will tell you more about it. This is about take 20 because they were laughing so much when they were doing it.
Hi, this is our community fridge. We put people from all over Muir Ward put food in here so that they don't waste food and others can have a tasty and nutritious meal.
We come here every day to clean it and check it. Here.
We also have it to reduce our carbon footprint.
How we do it.
we have to check the degrees on the top of the fridge and make sure that the door is shut. This is how we clean it. There you go. We check inside to make sure the food is not rotten. Lovely vegetables. So we make sure the door is shut. And then make sure the other door is shut. And that's how we keep our village running on happy and nutritious food. Thank you for watching. Bye.
I hope, as well as giving you a laugh, that gives you a bit of a sense of the responsibility that the children are getting within their community. Initially, when we started, we targeted our PEF children. So a couple of them would go up with a member of staff to do their cleaning. We encouraged the staff who were going with them to take something out if they wanted as well, just so that we were reducing any stigma attached. The children were then also encouraged to either go home and say what was in the fridge or take something themselves. And actually the Move Food staff have found that there are children who are going there in the mornings and they're taking something out for their breakfast. So it has worked. This year, every child throughout the whole school is having a part in cleaning. We're having every class on a weekly rota going up at some point. One of the next things, we've got a whole load of photos here, but one of the next things that we started with Move Food was planting the orchard, as Emma has mentioned, and that space is just ideally located across the road from the school, and it's somewhere where a lot of the children walk to and from every day. So it's just somewhere that we really wanted to bring their community into them and give them a sense of ownership. We had children from every class going and helping to plant those trees. We also went as a staff during an inset day. You can see a lovely picture of us there with our high-vis jackets on. We really are aware that we want the school to be able to maintain what we're doing with Move Food once any funding runs out. So, and we think that building staff knowledge and confidence in growing, planting and sustainability is probably key to that. We've held a number of celebration events in the school. One of our first ones was the pumpkin rescue event here. We did that coming up 2 years ago now. The focus was on reducing food waste, so we invited parents and their children to come in, carve their pumpkin, and then we were cooking and have to add a taste as well of whatever we made. We were really pleased because there were about 30 people turned up that night, so it was lovely and it was a really nice atmosphere too. Our last one that we held was the Festive Foodie Fun Night last Christmas. It followed the same format, just reducing food waste and cooking with anything that we've all got sitting in our fridge at Christmas time. We weren't sure how many people would turn up for that one because it was just 2 weeks before Christmas. But we were actually astounded that night. There were 100 people turned up. So it's just fantastic to see everybody starting to come and bring their friends along, and it's just building that sense of community. During the first year, I said to Tracy that I wanted to write a whole school education programme. I knew it was a lot of work, but I also knew that ultimately it would reduce our staff workload because we would then have resources that we could pick up and just run with. And I was very lucky to have a lot of support from Tracy. I've had time out of class to do that, and just having people to talk to. We've spent a lot of time speaking with everybody about it. The first thing that I did was went and looked at the E's and O's and the topics that we have split at each stage across the school and where our work with Move Food would fit into that. I then met with the Move Food gardener and one of the project officers to talk about all the activity ideas we had and where they would fit into each stage, and then went off and started writing it. While I was writing, I was looking at lots of different resources like the REC calendar, Food for Thought guidelines, and just so many fantastic resources. We just wanted something a little bit different that definitely fits in with MooFood and makes it all meaningful. Our programme runs over 2 years, so that eventually most classes will have the choice of a few different lessons. Some classes, they loved the thing that they did last year and it fits so well into their curriculum, they wanted to do that again this year, so that's what we've done. The lesson plans follow this format. In the first year, we decided that every class from primary 1 to 7 would have 2 sessions outdoors and 1 in the class cooking. Nursery had separate sessions. It was just one-off sessions that they had there as well. But we were very aware we wanted to include the nursery in it too. We have a mindfulness activity at the start of every session, and which links in with our school improvement plan for a mentally healthy school. The first year, we had most things were aimed at setting up our garden because our polytunnel had been moved during the summer holidays. There was a lot of building work going on in the school, so we were almost starting from scratch again. So we just chose that. We thought if we set everything up exactly how we wanted now, it's the best way forward. This year, after feedback from staff and from the pupils, everybody wanted more growing, so that's a bigger focus this year. Everyone this year has 2 sessions outside growing in the school or in the community, and then I've changed, instead of having the cooking session with MooFood, the teachers are taking the lead, and we've created a Tarradale School Cooking Challenge which replaces that session. It also adds in another element of child choice, because while the MooFood staff are giving them ideas for what's available at that specific time of year, the children are going to be able to choose what they want to cook with, and they'll be able to choose their recipe and then go off and cook it. If you're interested in having a copy of the education programme, our email addresses will be at the end, and you can take that and we'll get that to you. Year 2 started in early September this year. It started again, as we did the year before, with a visit from our local beekeepers to primary 2 and primary 2-3. The excitement from the children across the whole school when they see the bee people coming into the playground is just fab. They come in at break time and set everything up, and everybody wants to be there. So it's lovely to see. I'm just going to show you this quick clip. I spoke earlier on how we had mindfulness at the beginning of every session. This is the mindfulness session at the start here. It is worth noting that the sound is on here. There are about 60 children standing there. Just really highlighted their level of engagement, and I really wanted to show you that. And the fact that they're also able to transfer those mindfulness skills that they're learning in the class to the outdoors, and hopefully eventually further elsewhere whenever they want to. One of the last things I want to say before I pass you on is that at the first year I was running an eco group. Our aim was to get our green flag back. We've had it before. I spoke to the staff who had done it before, and while it is a really great idea, we found I had a group from primary 1 to 7, and I just found that the workload for that was excessive. The paperwork that we had to do with the children, it was losing them. They weren't interested, and I wanted something that they were engaged in. So I had an idea, and I asked Tracy and Emma if we could have a MooFood flag instead. So we've got that hanging up at school now. But that shows as well that we care about our environment. We've got the desire to grow our own. We want to reduce waste, and it highlights our partnership with MooFood. And we couldn't actually have achieved everything we have in the space of time we have if we didn't have that partnership. We've all benefited from it. So I'm just going to pass you back to Emma just now.
So this next little bit is talking about parental engagement. When I first met with Tracy a couple of years ago to discuss how we were going to design and develop this project, Growing Our Future, and what it was going to look like for their involvement with Tarradale Primary School, a key outcome for Tracy was to increase parental engagement within the school. So I'm very proud and pleased to say that we've definitely seen a rise in the involvement in parents in their children's learning, and we've also seen an increase in confidence of parents going into the school. But on top of that, we've also seen the level of community engagement by the parents. The parents are getting involved not just in the school but in their wider community. And there's been various different approaches to this, which I think is what has brought the success. And with our activities at Move Food, they're fun, they're free, and they're for the whole family. So parents have to come along to the activities. There's not activities that are just for the children to be dropped off. And on top of that, we try and accommodate younger siblings and older siblings. And I think that has definitely been a successful way of getting parents involved. And a lot of the stuff that we do quite naturally, based on the topic, is outside. And this we realise actually is quite useful because it provides a non-threatening environment where people can come along and have a little look to see if they might like to join in or who else is there. And if they don't quite fancy it, they can keep walking, or it's not too awkward. And the first summer holiday session that we ran in 2018 summer, we had specifically targeted certain families through the school that we thought would benefit from coming along to these summer sessions. And by the end of the summer holidays of 7 weeks, every single family that had been identified as a vulnerable family was now part of the Move Food family. And it took the 7 weeks for some of them to join in and use, as I said just there about the importance of being outside, you would see someone walking past, having a little nosy and a look, and then not joining in. But then the next week, they maybe did come along, but they brought their friend type thing. So I really think being outside was key. Another key thing, I believe, that has brought the success of engaging parents is that we feed the children when they come to us. And during summer holidays especially, we're all too aware of holiday hunger, and even the fact that your kid can come along, can receive a really nice nutritious meal is a real bonus. And not only do they get food whilst they're there, but we also give them a bag of food to take away with them. Social media, not a huge fan of it, but it certainly has played its part in engaging parents. And our social media sites, parents are very active on it, and they're very active with each other on it, sharing posts, sharing photographs, and that seems to be a good way of getting them interested and involved in the project work that we're doing. And on top of this, we've also held parent sessions. So at home time, before the bell rings, parents are invited to come along to school, and we show them what their kids have been doing, invite them to come along to their polytunnel, to their growing spaces, and invite them to harvest what's available and feel like it's their food for them to take away and enjoy. And the last thing that I think has been a contributing factor to the success of engaging parents more is the fact that the transition between school and Move Food is utterly seamless. None of this is Move Food's Orchard or Move Food's Fridge or anything like that. The point is it's Muirvord Community's Fridge, Muirvord Community's Orchard, and the school children, when they're involved, whether they're involved during school time or in the evenings or the weekends or in the holidays, it's the same system, it's the same people, and it's the same sort of values and styles of activity. So it's kind of seamless for parents to come into school or to be at an activity that's the weekend. So that has certainly been a huge plus for this project, and I'm very happy that Tracy's happy that we've achieved a bit of a key outcome with that. So I'll pass you back to Tracy.
Okay, so from a head teacher's perspective and looking at the outcomes, what for me, if you're running a school and you know exactly what you're trying to achieve. All of this work has been done, and it really has been phenomenal. But for me, what am I finding? What are the outcomes for me as the leader in the school? The first thing for definite is the fact that because the staff have been involved right from the start, we don't just have one lead person now, it has infiltrated right across the staff, which I always kind of felt with the eco flag when we did that it was one person that had an interest in eco and they were lumbered with all of the work. But the way that we've done it this time is Karen can actually take a good step back because she's done the work, but we, as you saw, us all looking very glamorous in our high-vis jackets in the pouring rain, we all are part of it now. So even people like me who can kill a plant from 20 paces have been learning how to nurture, how to do it. So anyone now in the school has got their ownership of that part of the curriculum and they're taking that forward, bringing in now their own ideas, and their confidence, staff confidence has risen. I'm hearing in PRDs my staff now saying to me, when it comes to that GTC registration question about sustainability that everybody looks glazed at, well, now my staff are saying, I get it now. I actually get it. I understand it. For the children, it's not like we're teaching sustainability anymore because they're living it. You know, from the minute they're walking to school and taking something out of that fridge is the beginning of their day where they are stopping something from going to landfill. So there's a completely deeper understanding of what sustainability is. And the things that they're coming up with next, you know, this is just the beginning, because the ideas now that we've got this grounding right through the whole village, the ideas for the next wave of where we go are coming from the children, coming from all of the staff, not just the one person who really likes growing stuff. It's just phenomenal. It's kind of taking off now. So that's a huge, huge thing for us. For me as well, my school improvement plan, this lovely document that we write in the summer and we all self-evaluate and we all do. And, you know, I hear people saying, oh, it's a paper exercise and the workload. And yes, it is. But actually, this has brought our school improvement plan to life because everything, all our ideologies have worked together. You know, we had on our school improvement plan, we were already using mindfulness and meditation in the school. But instead of it just being in the classroom, our children now, because of the input of Move Food, are using it outside. So they're using it in nature. They're using mindfulness if they're going for a walk. They're using it when they're eating food. They're using it through telling stories in books. And anytime they're outside the classroom, they're using these skills that we have been plugging away at with the meditation and the mindfulness in classrooms, but they're now taking it into every aspect of their life. And when you listen to what the children are saying to us about their mindfulness, it really is becoming part and parcel of what they're doing in their daily life. And they're taking it to parents who are now desperate to come in and do it as well. We've tried to do this for so many years. I have been desperate. Going back to our vision statement, I have been desperate to have something like this going for so many years. And we've tried and failed to get it go right across the community and across the class. We've tried all kinds of ways. And the only reason that this has really succeeded this time was because we stepped out of our comfort zone and invited a partner, because it has shared the workload. It has meant that one member of staff is not the go-to person because it has been shared out. Now, as a head teacher in this climate, workload, you have to address it. You cannot go forward and produce something of this scale with one person leading. It has to be across leaders, and it has to mean that everybody feels like they are a leader in that staff, or it's not going to work. And that has been a huge, huge plus of having a partner coming in from outside. So working with a partner has been wonderful.
When we were thinking about our legacy, we had to go back to our vision statements, our joint vision statements, and we came up with these 3 points. We feel like we're already on our way to achieving these. We've got children and families who are engaged and they're wanting more. We always wanted to hear more from our parents, and now we are. At the end of last session, when we asked our parents what they felt the impact on everything we'd been doing so far was, they said they felt they had calmer children. Their children were having more enjoyment and they were less anxious and they were confident, more confident overall. When we asked what they wanted, they said they wanted more outdoor learning, more joint activities outside, more family cooking classes, more mindfulness outside, and more joint child and parent mindfulness sessions outside and inside. And we feel that's all really positive and achievable. We can do that, and we will. We do feel everyone's got an increased sense of belonging, both the staff and the pupils and the parents as well. The increase in numbers at events alone, we think, shows everybody's got a much bigger sense of belonging. Families are definitely being inspired to create a more sustainable future. We're hearing about more children growing veg at home, and we've also seen just a difference in the packed lunches and snacks, even just like there's different food, but also there's more reusable tubs and less single-use plastics. And it just shows that children are more aware and they're pushing for it. We've got a bigger focus on sustainability in school across the board this year. Every class has their own eco-activity, which we've done before, but this year we've just got a bigger drive. Primary 7, they've chosen an eco-activity for their own enterprise, and that actually came from one of the children in the class. We started our journey about 2 years ago, and what we have achieved so far is brilliant. But that partnership has given us the motivation and ideas and belief that we can do so much more. As I said before, we couldn't have done what we've done if we didn't have the partnership with Move Food. But it's also given us the motivation to go and work with other parties. We've been working with local archaeologists. Actually, Tarradale Through Time were in the news this week. So we've had them in. They've been working with primary 4 to 7 last year and this year, where the children have gone out to the digs, but they've also come into school and worked with them too. We also have ideas for a cycle bus. We're speaking to another local group to share the use of it. So it's really exciting, and just hopefully we can pull that one off and make it work. I'll pass you over to Emma again.
Just in terms of legacy, we've created a movement, really. We've shifted what's normal, and it's incredible to observe. Children and families are making positive changes, making healthy, environmentally aware and community-spirited choices. There is an immense sense of belonging and pride, which is resulting in a great sense of ownership and stewardship. The actual extent of the impact of this project will never be known because it's rippling into so many different parts and aspects of people's lives. So going forward, Move Food. We're definitely going to keep working with these guys at Tarradale Primary School. I think you can tell from how the three of us are all talking, we get on good. We're the same type of people and things are really, really good. But I would really, if there's anybody here from the third sector or from a community foods project, I would really, really encourage you to partner up with your local primary school, because what you can achieve collectively is really super powerful. Through the school, you can have access to families, and more importantly, you've got access to that next generation. And when you see what's going out in the world there, whether in climate, environmental emergency declared, these kids and empowering these kids to be the change that the future needs is obviously imperative. But also having access to the school's social media sites, and not to underestimate the value of having access to yet another piece of ground to grow on, which makes me excited. So Move Food, we're going to continue to evolve to in line and parallel with the needs and demands of the community. And like with how we developed this particular project, we're going to be led by our partners, adding value to what they're already doing. I'm going to be taking this model, this wider community model, and developing it across the area. We've got other communities on board to be starting to be going with this, which is exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to grow our future by inspiring and empowering a movement towards a sustainable and zero carbon world. Thanks everybody for listening. And this is now your chance for any questions, which the three of us are more than happy to try to answer, if you have any. And then I'll go on to the last slide so I don't forget. If you want to contact any of the three of us, we're absolutely more than happy to hear from you and help you along the way. As Karen said, we've got the school programme that we're happy to share with anybody. And on the front here, if anybody's interested in how to go about developing a community fridge, specifically in partnership with a school, then we've got a leaflet here to help you to work out how to do that.
Hello, I'm from the Orkney Islands originally, so I know what it's like for a small community and the stigma surrounding poverty and things, because it's evident everywhere, but nobody speaks about it in these smaller places. Do you find for the ladies at the school that it's working well with your interdisciplinary learning in the classroom as well, so therefore you're finding it links to ES&Os and other aspects of subject areas?
It's becoming part and parcel of life, you know, so it's actually linking into just about everything. I don't know if I need to stand next to it. So it's kind of infiltrating every single thing that we do. But as far as the stigma goes, we make sure that the staff go up and use the fridge. I go up and use the fridge, so they're seeing the head teacher in the village going in and taking out of the fridge. In fact, there was one day where the butcher had put in steak pies and one of the PSAs got one and it nearly caused a stampede. And by the time we all got up there was none left, so we were all scunnered and she got away. So we really were being very out there and open using it to make sure that anybody who does feel a bit self-conscious has got nothing to feel self-conscious about with the fridge, you know.